Hi, my name's William Cupp. I've been born and raised in Scott City, Kansas, and this is basically my testimony. So, I've been a Christian all my life, raised in a good Christian family, always went to church, always went to youth group. Pretty standard story. Um, but something was a little bit off, I would say, and it took me a long time to realize what that was, and it was really a lot of things. Um, I think I'll get back to that once I talk about how I sort of changed my life. What happened was, this last summer, I went to a conference called CIY with my youth group, and it stands for Christ in Youth, and what made it different from what I had really understood in my heart as what Christianity was before was that it was faith plus action. And I had heard many people talk about how important that was before, but I think it really hit home at CIY that in the past I had been sort of relying on my faith to get me through when it was really faith and action that creates a full Christian in God's image. So at CIY, I met a lot of amazing people. I mean, they were the people in my youth group, so I knew them, but I felt like I really met them at CIY in a meaningful way, because CIY emphasized interpersonal connection on more than a superficial level, and holding each other accountable and really digging deep into what it means to be a good Christian, a good person, a follower of Jesus. And I saw so many people change, including me, over that trip. People opened up in ways that I had never seen really before and hadn't expected, because really there was kind of an air of superficiality about what I had felt before. And maybe that's because I wasn't quite prepared, as far as maturity and however that goes. But CIY was just the perfect storm of things just coming together and me understanding so many things about myself and my faith. So I can't stress enough how important and amazing that experience was to changing me. Because before that, my life had revolved around Christ, but also around myself too much. Christ was sort of kind of a part of my life instead of, the meaning and the fullness to my life. Yeah, I'd say that's how my life was before, and then at CIY, it all changed into that confluence of faith and action. And since then, it's been kind of a big emphasis on my thoughts, and I think we've talked about it. Scott's talked about it to our youth group. Scott Wagner, my pastor and youth pastor. After CIY, things sort of changed for me. I started emphasizing the action part of my walk with Christ. And how that unfolded was soon after returning from CIY, I had been sort of thinking to myself, how can I do kingdom work in the world? How can I change? And I was going out to lunch with Scott and Kim, and Scott sort of said to me, we're looking for a student-led ministry, and that sort of hit home with me because I had literally been thinking about that ever since CIY. So I told him, yeah, I'll try to head that up. How about starting a Bible study? And that day, I started a Bible study along with Madison Chaplain in the church, and we've been meeting ever since. And it's been a lot of people that went to CIY, just a big portion of our youth group, and we talked a lot about accountability at CIY and beyond, how holding each other accountable is what we as the youth need and want. So we put an emphasis on that, holding each other accountable as good stewards of Christ and really leading a life of kingdom work. And I think it's really changed a lot of us. I think I've for sure noticed a change in myself and many of the other people that go to the Bible study. So that Bible study has sort of been one of the main sources of the youth group's ministry after CIY. How to carry that forward, how to carry that message of faith plus action forward after CIY was important, because it's easy when you go to a conference like that to feel that high of Jesus all around you, but then come back to the quote-unquote real world and sort of feel let down, like, oh, the world isn't like how it was at CIY for those few days. And it's like, you have to be mentally prepared and strengthened to resist the temptation to fall back into your old ways, I guess. So the Bible study was the main focal point of that. And through that, one of the members of the Bible study, well, we were just throwing around ideas of how we can be effective stewards and do kingdom work. And we threw out many different suggestions, just brainstorming to see what we could come up with. And one of the people said that a mission trip would be amazing. And after that subject was broached, it all seemed to come together. Like, we went to a cabin that members of the Bible study had access to up in Colorado. We went to a town called Trinidad, and we worked at a soup kitchen, and it really was a wake-up call that not everywhere is quite as nice as Scott City, and we may feel like the world's out to get us in Scott City, but it is even a whole different world in a town like Trinidad. There's drug problems everywhere, homeless problems everywhere, and I think that was a very beneficial experience for the Bible study. Just getting to see that, yeah, the world's a rough place, but we as Christians have to be ready for that. We have to be prepared to bring Christ's light even to the most dark places. And again, bringing it back to that faith plus action, that's part of the action. Just carrying Christ with you even when it would be easy to sort of blend into the world around you. I think that my testimony is ongoing. I'm not young as a Christian, but I'm young as a Christian who acts as the Bible commands us and really lives out my faith. And I think that going into college, that's going to be a lot different, because I'm a senior about to go into college, which will probably be a whole different world. And it's one thing to think it in my head, but just living out Christ through college and bringing him to everyone there is going to be essential in the future. I'm happy to share my testimony, and I'm sure that Scott and Kim and anyone else out there can fill in any gaps I missed.